guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a bit of a different kind of video. If you're new here, my name is Julia Salvia. Welcome to the channel. Hi. So I get the question all the time when I'm doing clients, when my mom calls me and tells me that she went and got her makeup done by someone else, or my best friend or one of my friends calls me and says, shit. We all know what that means. Raccoon eyes. I'm gonna give you guys all of my tips and tricks on how to get the perfect go-to smoky eye, as you see here, without the raccoon eyes. I'm gonna show you how I create a smoky eye for my eye shape or how to cater it to your eye shape. And I'm also gonna show you how to keep this black eyeshadow super opaque and super black without it creasing. And I'm also gonna show you how to not get those raccoon eyes. This is one of my go-to looks, so I'm really excited to share all of my tips and tricks that I've learned throughout the years, because I'm so old and so experienced. I'm excited to share them with you, and I hope you guys learn a lot. And if you wanna learn how to get this right here, then just keep on watching. Mwah. Alright guys, so step number one in creating the perfect and easiest smoky eye is just do the eyes first. That way we can clean up whatever mess is all over our face. If there's fallout, we don't want to look like a raccoon. Now I want the blackest black smoky eye. That's the type of smoky eye I go for. If you go for a different color smoky eye, totally up to you, but the same steps apply. First, I'm going to apply my primer. This is gonna make sure that we don't have any creasing and that the shadows stay on. The most annoying thing in the world is at the end of the day or the end of the night, that smoky eye is creasing right in the crease and there's just a big white line going through your eye. So the next step is optional. It's just something that I really like to do. I like to not only prime my eyes with an eyeshadow primer, but I like to use concealer as a base just so that my entire eye from my brow bone to my eyelid is completely clear and just even skin toned. I have a lot of like veins that you can see right through my eyelids, so I like to just cover that up so we can start off with a fresh base. So with this brush, and this brush, I love this brush. This is the Stunning Eyeshadow Brush. I love this for cream shadows. This is from IT Cosmetics. I'm just gonna bring it as far up to the brow bone as I can, and don't forget to get the inner corners and also underneath. I have a little bit left on my hand. I'm going to take a little bit of this on a really flat brush like this one. This one's from ColourPop, I believe. I just like to use this to shape out my brows. And then go back in and just blend that. So I just have a little Laura Mercier powder. I'm just going to set all of that. And of course, leave it to me to get some glitter on my eye. Hold on. So next step is to take a black cream eyeshadow or eyeliner. Usually eyeshadow is, it really just depends. This one is from Nude Sticks and it's their magnetic eye color in the shade Night. It is a little bit more on the creamy side, and this can crease if you use it on its own. I have tried it before, so that's why I kind of did all of those little extra steps that you saw there. But this is gonna help give us the most opaque, dark black smoky eye possible. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off right at the lash line, like that. And I'm not gonna take it up to the crease. I'm gonna do one eye at a time. I'm gonna go back in with that favorite brush of mine from IT Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna start blending that. And if you feel safer with a smaller brush, go right ahead and get a smaller brush. I like a small, I like the denseness of this brush. It's like dense but still fluffy. So I'm not blending like this, I'm just going like a little bit at a time. And whenever I do a client's eyeshadow, like a much more mature skin, this is how I do a smoky eye on them. I start off with cream shadows first and then go into powder. So that's what it should look like. So I basically blended it up to my crease, And the reason why you want to go one eye at a time too is sometimes the products dry a little fast, so you won't get there in time before it dries. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing to the other eye and I'll be back. Okay, so the other eye is done, and yes, that made my eyes look a lot smaller, but I promise you we're going to fix that and I'll show you how. My absolute favorite palette to use for a smoky eye is the Soft Glam from Anastasia. And this is what it looks like on the inside. There are a couple shades that I use and I will go back and forth in. Of course, we're going to use this black shade right over here, and this shade is called Noir. But I'm going to start off with the lightest shade, which is this one right here, and this is one of my favorite brushes from Royal & Langnickel. You can use my code Julia to get some money off of these brushes, but this is their Omnia collection. This is the BOM 45 brush, and it's just a super, super fluffy brush. And I'm just gonna take some of that shade Orange Soda, top it off, and this is gonna go right into my crease. It's not gonna look like anything just yet. This is just gonna start our transition, and for me, I like to really take over my whole eye with a smoky eye, so I bring that Orange Soda almost all the way up to my brow in the front. So right here. I'm gonna keep with the same brush and I'm gonna go into Burnt Orange. I'm gonna be a little more controlled with Burnt Orange and place it right in the crease. And as I'm doing these shadows, guys, I am like winging it out a little bit. I wanna make sure that I am giving my eyes like a more almond shape, so you'll see that come together. If you wanted it super like defined, you can put a piece of tape here or a piece of paper to make it more defined, but I kind of like mine a little more smoky. Next shade, I'm gonna use a mixture of these two shades, so Sienna and Rustic. I kind of like my smoky eyes a little more red-orange, so that's why I go into these. And these are definitely gonna be more controlled. I've now switched my brush. This is the MAC 217 brush, one of my favorites. This is going to sit right here in the crease. And once I've applied those shades, I'm gonna go back in with my blending brush, the bigger one, and just blend it all together so that it's more flawless. Now onto the black. So I have a tiny little pencil brush. This one is from Luxie. It's the 121 brush. You can kind of use any brush for this portion, but I like something that's more controlled, so I choose something that's smaller but also is good at blending. So I'm gonna dab into Noir. And how we stop from doing the raccoon eyes, even though we don't have foundation on, we just wanna avoid cleaning up as much as possible. Tap it off. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm actually going to take it and tap on top, starting at the lash line. And then once I've tapped it, I'm then gonna start blending, and I'm gonna take this exactly the same way that we did with the cream shadow, but because this brush is more controlled, it's not gonna get everywhere. So I'm just taking that into the crease and kind of winging it out a little. And if you need to, you can go back in with Rustic. I actually sometimes like to go in with this shade. I know so many shades, you don't have to use all these shades. I'm just like a transition freak and really like to use so many different colors to make sure that that transition is just easier and quicker to transition. So I always go back in with the brushes and back in with the shades. And that's kind of our smoky eye right there. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this eye and I will be back and we will continue. So I had to put a pause in this video because I had to go do a makeup appointment for a client, and that was about 4 hours ago. So I had to pause in this video a little bit to get some errands and, you know, adult things done. But we're back and here's proof right here that it doesn't crease. So now that we're basically done with the eyeshadow part, I'm gonna take some eyeliner. This is the 24/7 Glide On eyeliner from Urban Decay in the color Perversion. So depending on your eye shape and depending on whether you want to make your eyes look bigger or you want to make your eyes look smaller, I recommend for those of you that want to make your eyes look bigger to only place this eyeliner right here. So I'm only using this eyeliner to tightline my eyes. So do you see how much more smokier this eye looks than this one? So if you were looking to make your eyes look smaller, you would then apply this eyeliner to the waterline right here. My eyes are not small, but they're also not big, so I kind of like to do half and half and kind of cheat the system a little bit. So I apply to the top lash line because I like my eyes to look nice and sultry and deep, and then I'm going to apply a white eyeliner or a nude eyeliner to the waterline on the bottom, and it's going to help open up our eyes. Let me show you. So I have this one from Cover FX. It's in the shade G Light, and I like to go with more of a nude pencil than a white one. I feel like white can be too much sometimes, especially on a black smoky eye. So I'm just gonna apply this right in the waterline. I don't know if you guys can see how much that opened up this eye compared to this one. I know, crazy, right? So that's gonna help open up our eyes. We are gonna apply some black shadow on the bottom as well. So let's do that next. So I'm just gonna take a bit of concealer on any brush and just apply that right underneath my eyes so that we can really get this black super opaque. And I wanna make sure to blend it out like as much as possible. And obviously on a clean new brush. So I'm gonna apply the exact same shades that I applied to the top of my eyes. So I'm gonna take Orange Soda first, and I'm just gonna take this same brush, because we want this to be the most fluffed out shade. And I'm just gonna blend that underneath my eye. Then I'm gonna take my Burnt Orange, and I'm actually gonna just skip over Sienna. Actually, no. I'm gonna mix Burnt Orange, Sienna, and Rustic together. 3 shades right here, just to kind of save some time here. And I'm gonna apply those with a little bit less pressure and also pointing the brush more towards my bottom lashes. And then I'm gonna take my black. So this is another one of my favorite brushes. This is also from IT Cosmetics. This is their 221 eyeshadow brush. And this is really amazing for getting super close to the lash line underneath your eyes. And it is super dense and thin, but it's still like a little bit fluffy enough so we can blend it out. It's not too thin like an angled brush. So I'm just gonna take that as close to the lashes as possible. And I like to dab it first because I also didn't tap off any of my product. Now I'm gonna tap off what's left on the brush, and I'm just gonna use the brush to blend that black shade. And now I'm gonna go into the brown a little bit, which is the darkest, the brown that we used right before the black, Cypress Umber. And just use that to create even more of a transition. And then I'm gonna jump back to this brush again, blend it all together, and voila. I'm not gonna apply lashes for this look. I know that they're not usually a realistic or a quick thing to do, but I do wear this look with or without lashes. Obviously, falsies do show a little bit more with a black smoky eye than real lashes, but I'm just gonna curl. Sorry, I know that looks so creepy. I used 2 mascaras on my eyes. I'm gonna use the Too Faced Better Than Sex on just the top lashes. And sometimes I'll use a lash primer to really make my lashes like pop a little bit more and make them thicker. I kind of like them a little, I don't want to say clumpy, but a little thicker for like a look like this because you can't really see the whole lash. So sometimes the clumpy, a little bit more thicker, clumpier lashes are okay for a smoky eye. And then for the bottom lashes, I'm going to use the Lancome Monsieur Big Mascara, and it is a waterproof mascara. I don't usually use a regular mascara on the bottom lashes because I feel like it transfers. So to avoid having the mascara coming down your face, I always use waterproof on the bottom lashes. Okay, so now we're at the step where we are ready to move on to the face. I'm just gonna take a makeup wipe and I'm just going to clean anything underneath the eyes. So here's the clean side and here's the non-clean side. There's not too much of a difference. I'm so used to doing this that I don't have too much fallout anymore, but if you definitely have fallout, now is the time to clean your whole face of all the black stuff. And zooming you guys out for the face. So I'm applying concealer, and when I do a smoky eye, I really like to go, it's maybe a little crazy on the concealer, but I really like to brighten up my whole face. And I choose a shade, on camera it actually looks really light, but I like to choose a shade that isn't super, super bright. I like to kind of pick one or the other. I go with the eyes versus the lips. So if I'm going crazy with my eyes, then I'm going to calm it down with the lips. But I do feel like it does depend on where you're going, what you're doing, and a smoky eye is really versatile. So you can wear kind of any lip you want with it. I just, you know, if you're trying to not overdo it, maybe don't wear like a dark color or bright lip with a smoky eye if, you know, you're trying not to overdo it and you want to calm it down a little bit. So I really like to go with nudes. That's just my preference, so we'll get to that a little bit later. But I also like to make sure that my face isn't too overdone, but it is just done enough to kind of accentuate the eye look and make sure that everything looks very clean. I also like to go with a dewy finish for a smoky eye look. So I'm just gonna take a setting spray. This is the Dalton Skin Reviving Setting Mist, and I'm going to set my face before I put powder on it. Now if you have oily skin, maybe skip this. For powder, I have my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Medium Plus. So one thing I do like to do is I make sure to set underneath my eyes really well, just so that if I get sweaty or oily or any of that, it's not going to transfer underneath my eyes. So I usually do this with a more dense brush. This is the MAC 133 brush. So I'll do that kind of all around the eye. And then I'll take a little of my Laura Mercier powder and just put that in all the areas where I get oily. For bronzer, I'm gonna use my NARS Laguna. Not really much to say about using a bronzer. I just feel like I have to use bronzer whenever I do a smoky eye. And for blush, I have my NARS Laguna blush. This is just kind of like a peachy pink blush. Kind of like to go for more orangey, peachy colors. Blush, it's the only really color that I'm gonna use on my face with a smoky eye. So I go a tiny bit heavier than I normally do, and I don't really go heavy with blush ever. So when I say heavy, I'm probably talking about like normal application of blush. Okay, so next is highlighter, one of my favorite parts. Now my highlighter is broken, so I'm not gonna open it, but this is the Becca Opal highlighter. This one is definitely one of the ones that I like when I'm just going more for a neutral highlight. So I'm also using that MAC 133 brush, and I'm just using the other side where we didn't have the powder. And I'm just gonna apply that all over my face. Since we don't have any shimmer in the eyes, I like to make sure that there's shimmer everywhere else. And then gonna take a smaller brush and I'm gonna apply this right in the inner corners. I don't know why, but I always like the way that an inner corner highlight and brow bone highlight looks when you use the exact same color that you used as your highlight for your face. And sometimes I will go back into the Soft Glam palette and I'll use Tempera just to help kind of whiten it a little bit. So once we're at this point, a couple things that I'm gonna go back to on the eyes and the brows. So let me zoom you in for that. So my brows look kind of gray, and the bottom lash line doesn't look as blended out as it did before. So I actually will first jump back in with one of the brushes and just blend it out a little bit. And if I need a little bit more color, I'll add a little bit more color. So you can see how much more smoky this side looks than this side. And the other thing is my brows. Sometimes the powder that I use on my face turns my brows a little gray looking. So I will take my medium brown brow powder from Anastasia, Hello Train, and I'll just use that to fill in my brows a little bit more. I just like the look of a powder and how it kind of just, like, it doesn't overdo it, and I'm trying not to overdo it with anything else because the eyes are overdone in a good way. So just a small difference, but you see how much more on point it looks. And the last thing for the brows, I'll take a colored brow gel. This is from Milk Makeup. This is their Cush Fiber Brow Gel in the color Herb. And I will just take that and run it through my brow. This is gonna help them stay in place, and it also is gonna give a little more texture and color to the brow. So now we're finally on to the lips. My absolute favorite lip liner ever is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Lip Pencil in the color Nighthawk. It is a super deep nude burgundy brown. I don't even know what color this is, but I love it. And I use this all around my lips. So I like to ombre out the lip liner. I'm going for, and this is just personal opinion, I really like kind of like a 90s lip, but a little bit more ombre'd out, so it's not like that really dark lip liner and then like white in the center. So I'm gonna take a lipstick. This is the Tarte Pink Sands lipstick, and it is a really pretty coral pink. And I'm gonna apply that all over my lips, even on top of the lip liner. And if I need to, I'll go back in with the lip liner. And that's the lip if you like it matte. I like to add a little bit of gloss. This is one of my favorite glosses. This is Sandy from Buxom. Gonna give it one last spray. Ta-da! So here's the final look up close. Here's our little smoky eye and lip and all that. I hope you guys enjoyed and really liked my tips and tricks on how to get the perfect smoky eye without looking like an absolute raccoon. There's just some small itty bitty little tricks that I learned from just doing makeup for so long and trying out so many different ways and looking like a raccoon on some days to figure out how to get the perfect smoky eye. This is one of my go-to looks if I'm going to a concert, a party. This is the look that I wear, that I feel more and most comfortable wearing, and it suits me. This is me. But that's all I have for today's video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I hope this video was informational. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. Send it to your mom. Send it to your best friend. Send it to your aunt. Send it to your grandma. Send it to the friend that you know always looks like a raccoon. As always, make sure to subscribe to me right here in the center of the screen and check out all my other videos right here on the side. Love you guys, and I will see you next time.